What a perfectly perfect life. It's a fairy tale come true. I'm a princess and a wife, all because I fit a shoe. When I dreamed of love. Oh, what a wonderfully perfectly perfect year.
Before their fairy tale wedding, not everything was perfectly perfect for Kate and William. The couple split up at least half a dozen times over 8 years. Kate was even dubbed Waity Katie by the British tabloids as she waited patiently for her prince to pop the question. When William publicly dumped her in 2007, his aristocratic fraternity pals called her the practice chick. After years of splits, reconciliations, and will they won't they speculation, William finally slid a ring onto Kate's finger. It was the used ring that belonged to his deceased mother, the same ring she wore during her doomed and loveless marriage to William's two-timing father, Prince Charles. William, on the other hand, refused to wear a wedding band and stayed as ringless as a bachelor. A husband's refusal to wear a wedding band is a big no-no for most women. How committed and in love can he be, they ask, if he won't even show off the fact that he's married? Even if their 8-year on-again, off-again relationship wasn't perfectly perfect, at least their fairy tale wedding would be perfectly perfect. The couple set their wedding date for April 29, 2011. Coincidentally, it was the exact same day as Hitler's wedding day, and it marked the 66th anniversary of Hitler's marriage to Eva Braun.
And to watch U.S. television, fawning, Fox, CNN, CBS, all of them. Oh, it's so wonderful. No one in America can wait until next week. The way they're hyping it.
1 week until the royal wedding. This is exciting stuff. I mean, it's hard to, I mean, the energy is just palpable.
Young couples get married, they're just hoping that some bank will be nice enough to give them a mortgage.
Yeah.
These folks have a number of palaces to pick from.
NBC News is launching a free royal wedding app for the iPad.
This is truly a love story that captures everybody's attention.
This goes back to Edward Bernays 100 years ago, saying, look, to make politicians and royalty popular, we'll have Hollywood stars come to banquets and events with them. We'll have music stars. We'll have other people go there to basically make these elites be seen as celebrities themselves.
On TV screens around the globe, billions watched as the ringless William twisted, squeezed, and fumbled a gold wedding ring onto Kate's finger, but denied her the same honor. Every flag-waving commoner wanted a royal souvenir that they could take home and cherish forever and ever. Well, maybe not forever and ever. The royal condom souvenir probably won't last forever and ever.
Kate and William, the comic book? That's right. Now alongside Spider-Man and Archie, you can find the royal couple.
Yes, everything was perfectly perfect until the balcony kiss that royal wedding watchers waited for breathlessly. That magical moment was stolen by a 3-year-old flower girl whose sour expression cast a giant shadow over the royal kiss. The flower girl is the daughter of Lady Rose Astor, and she is also Prince William's goddaughter. Kate finally bent down and whispered something like, "Put on a happy face and get used to it. You're ruining everything." Why is the pouting flower girl important enough to be named Prince William's goddaughter? Because she's an Astor. Fritz Springmeier identifies the Astors as one of the 13 satanic bloodlines who made billions from opium, slave trading, and loan sharking. His book gives reference documentation of their criminal history. Many within these unsavory power circles were on the wedding guest list, like James Rothschild of the Rothschild-Bankster dynasty. James Rothschild brought along his passed-around girlfriend, Astrid Harbord, who, according to the tabloids, had previously shagged Prince Harry. Also on the guest list was Gary Goldsmith, Kate's uncle. The tabloids report that Uncle Gary is a filthy rich, cocaine-snorting, pill-popping, porn-peddling, foul-mouthed, randy, hedonistic playboy. Here's Kate's uncle at the wedding popping pills with his female escort. Uncle Gary Goldsmith is the younger brother of Kate's mother, Carol Goldsmith. Kate's Uncle Gary was filmed covertly by undercover reporters for the UK's News of the World at his sprawling $10 million villa on the Spanish party island of Ibiza. He named his villa Maison de Bang Bang, which is French slang for House of Sex. Guarded by MI6 agents, Prince William and his bride-to-be holidayed, partied, and yachted at Uncle Gary Goldsmith's House of Bang Bang in 2006. The undercover reporters reported that Kate's Uncle Gary entertains his guests with hardcore porn on a massive 52-inch screen. He supplies pot, cocaine, ecstasy, hookers, and door-to-door delivery. Does anyone really believe that William and Kate just held hands and sipped tea on their Bang Bang holiday? And speaking of uncles, which uncle is slimier, Kate's Uncle Gary or William's Uncle Andrew? Prince Andrew is the brother of William's father, Charles, and the son of Queen Elizabeth. He is the fourth in line to the British throne. Andrew, who was also a featured guest at William's wedding, has been exposed in the news as a client of Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein is a convicted pedophile who served up underage girls to Prince Andrew like lollipops. Epstein also gave Andrew $30,000 to help pay for his ex-wife Fergie's massive debts that she was blackmailing him for. Andrew was finally forced to step down as Britain's trade ambassador because of number 1, his criminal behavior with underage girls, 2, a $6 million tax evasion charge, and 3, conflicts of interest from friendships with a convicted pedophile and with Libyan leader Gaddafi's son, whose country was being bombed by the British military.
Mr. Chris Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given the circumstances that the Prime Minister describes, isn't it increasingly difficult to explain the behaviour of the UKTI Special Ambassador for Trade, who is not only a very close friend of Saif Gaddafi, but is also a close friend of the convicted Libyan gun smuggler Tariq Kaitouri? Isn't it time we dispensed with the services of the Duke of York?
References to members of the royal family should be very rare, very sparing, and very respectful. Order.
Despite their criminal activities, neither of William and Kate's sleazy uncles have ever been arrested or prosecuted for their crimes. They are above the law. Okay, so 2 rotten apples in the newlyweds family doesn't make them all rotten. William's brother Harry isn't such a bad bloke, is he? It can't be easy being the carrot-top younger brother and second fiddle to the perfectly perfect William, who is destined to be king. It can't be easy wondering why you look so much like James Hewitt, the man your mother publicly admitted that she cheated with while Charles was cheating with Camilla.
Dianna confessed her affair with raffish Hewitt in an interview with the programme Panorama.
Did your relationship go beyond a close friendship?
Yes, it did. Yes.
Were you unfaithful?
Yes, I adored him. Yes, I was in love with him.
It can't be easy hearing your real father admit that the royal family threatened to kill him.
Were they threatening?
Yes, they were. Inasmuch as they said that it was not conducive to my health to continue the relationship.
James Hewitt says he also received warnings from Diana's personal police protection officers and members of the royal household. He says that he even had a conversation with a member of the royal family.
It can't be easy hearing news reports that your mother slept around with lots of men. Barry Manicky, David Waterhouse, James Gilby, James Hewitt, Oliver Hoare, William Carling, Dr. Hasnan Khan, rock star Bryan Adams, and Muslim playboy Dodi Al-Fayed. Worst of all was the rumor that your mother got knocked up by Dodi Al-Fayed and that your family murdered her because she was an embarrassment to the crown. Harry has a lot to be angry about. It's understandable that he acted out his anger and got caught by the paparazzi drinking, drugging, brawling, groping breasts, and making racist comments about dark-skinned people. What's not so understandable is why Harry wore a Nazi uniform and a swastika armband to an upscale dress party in 2006. The news was a reminder of the royal family's links to Hitler's Nazi Party, which they've tried so hard to cover up. Prince Philip is William and Harry's grandfather and the Queen's husband. He married the Queen in 1947 and changed his German name from Philip Battenberg to Philip Mountbatten to cover up his German identity.
The so-called royal family which triumphed is basically German. They are seated on almost every throne in Europe. They are the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha-Battenberg bloodline, which often intermarries with the Hesse-Kassel German nobility and claim Jewish descent from the royal house of David in ancient Israel. They raise their children without love or compassion, breeding each successive generation to be at the head of a military establishment who keep an angered peace by use of fear, surveillance, and war. Contrary to what the royal spin doctors have written in the school history books, Queen Victoria was not popular. She was often hissed in public, and there were no less than 7 attempts to kill her. Keeping the populace ignorant, using adults and children alike as virtual slaves in workhouses, providing no adequate protection against hypothermia, working every man and woman to exhaustion, and imposing a crippling poll tax was the modus operandi of Queen Victoria and all her relatives sitting on the thrones across Europe. So-called Victorian values allowed children to be used as slave labor. Inhumane slums and widespread poverty was common across the whole of Europe right up until the 1970s.
Both of Philip's sisters married high-ranking German officers in the Nazi Party. His sister Sophie married Nazi SS Colonel Christoph von Hess, chief of Hermann Göring's Secret Intelligence Service. Prince Philip's German uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten, was a central figure in secret communications between the British royal family and their pro-Hitler cousins in Germany. The authors of War of the Windsors state that Lord Louis Mountbatten had the nickname Dickie, and for good reason. Philip's uncle Dickie was the last viceroy in India, where he was a known pedophile who sexually exploited young working-class Indian peasant boys. Another book, The Kincora Scandal, connects Lord Dickie Mountbatten to a child prostitution vice ring in Belfast, Ireland. Authorities failed to intervene at the Kincora Care Home for Boys until 1981, despite reports over the years of child sexual abuse. The operators of the Kincora child prostitution ring were eventually convicted in 1981 of the ritual sexual abuse of defenseless young boys who were sold like prostitutes. No charges were ever brought against the VIP customers of royals, politicians, lawyers, and judges. Belfast citizens finally had reason to celebrate when Prince Philip's pedophile uncle was killed by an IRA bomb planted in his boat.
Lord Mountbatten was 79 years old on August 27, 1979, a day he set sail for a pleasure cruise in the Shadow 5, his 27-foot runabout.
Only about 10 minutes after they set off, there was a tremendous explosion.
The boat seemed to lift off the surface of the water before it splintered into a million whirling pieces. Bodies, oil, and blood rained down to float upon the water.
Lord Mountbatten's grandson, Nicholas, and the boat boy were both dead, floating face down in the water. Lord Mountbatten himself had both of his legs nearly torn off by the blast, and he was still alive, but he died very shortly thereafter in the boat that rescued him.
Lord Louis was, of course,